Yesterday I was going through some things that I've saved that are important to me. And I found this incredible flying woman, as she was once called. It was a gift to me many, many years ago, and I've saved it. I had her packed away, and I think today was the perfect day to take it out and to remind me that this is still who I am. A lot has happened, a lot of loss, a lot of growth, a lot of amazingly positive things that every day reinforce my sense of faith and recognition that I'm here for a purpose. And my purpose has always been to serve. I recognize that we're all influenced by what's around us. And I often watch movies that are inspiring to me, and I'm sure you do as well. Those movies where people are on a course and then they fail. And then they fail again, and then they fail again. And they keep picking themselves up, brushing themselves off, and starting all over again. It's because you have that small voice that keeps saying to you, you're on the right path, keep going. And it's those times that you fall. I heard someone say, fall forward, always fall forward. And I hold on to messages like that keep me going, even in times when my bank account, and believe me, when I say this, is low. But then I turn on something and a message comes to me about the wisdom of successful people throughout time. Now, I'm not talking about someone in modern days, a coach on one of these Facebook pages, or somebody that's younger that maybe has an old soul and understands it. I'm talking about people like Napoleon Hill, who interviewed Andrew Carnegie, and he was a reporter, and he had the opportunity to interview Andrew Carnegie, who was a Scotsman, very successful Scotsman in industrialization period. And you should study him if you don't already know who he was. But if you're an entrepreneur, you particularly want to know that name, and you want to understand his life and his philosophies. And Napoleon Hill was given the opportunity to interview him for 3 hours. Napoleon Hill was a young reporter at the time, and he had no money, and he had to travel to where Carnegie was. Carnegie spoke to him for the 3 hours, and following his interview, he said to Napoleon Hill, I have one question for you. What would you do for the next 20 years if you didn't know you were going to be compensated for it? That question's kind of off, but it meant, would you do something totally committed if you didn't know you were going to get paid for it? And Andrew Carnegie waited, and he set a stopwatch. He was only going to give him 60 seconds. They say that people who are particularly successful make decisions very fast. Not long after he set the stopwatch, Napoleon Hill said yes, he would do that. And Andrew Carnegie said, then I want you to research, and I want you to write about this. You see, we need to understand history, because if we don't understand history, we have to repeat it. And when we live our own lives, unless we learn the lessons that we've been presented, we get them again. So history is incredibly important, whether we're looking past centuries or we're looking at our past lives or we're looking at our past 5 days. What have you learned in the last few minutes of your life? Anyway, so Napoleon Hill said yes, he would do it. And Andrew Carnegie said, good, I want you to stay here and I want you to interview me. And Napoleon Hill said, well, to himself, I don't know where I'll stay. I don't know, I can't afford it. And Andrew Carnegie said, I want you to move in with me. And he, of course, had a massive mansion. And he moved in and began interviewing him. And Andrew Carnegie said, I will introduce you to all the richest people in the world. And I want you to interview them. I want to encourage you to look at Napoleon Hill and the work that he's done. And people like that who have come before us. And if you're considering yourself an entrepreneur today, if you haven't failed, you are not an entrepreneur. If you have everything you need in place and someone has entrusted you and you have not failed, you are not an entrepreneur. If you're taking a course in a college and you're learning through a book how to be an entrepreneur, but you haven't experienced it yet, you are not an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur takes courage. Courage is a French word. It means from the heart. And I truly believe that just as this woman, this incredible flying woman that you've been watching this last few minutes, reminds me that the reason that I continue is because what I believe is that I'm here to serve. And that message is in my heart and it's in my mind. And when I consider changing or shifting in another direction, a little voice says, no, this is your path. Stay on it. It is safe. Listen for that small voice and you'll know what direction you need to go in. And you will soar.